A warning to any viewers that might have photosensitive epilepsy. This video contains flashing images. Hey there, and welcome to my VRChat DJ Club showcase plus interviews thing. Have you ever wanted to know a bit more about what work goes on in the music scenes in VRChat? This video might help you. I'll be introducing you all to 3 people who run 3 of the clubs here in VRChat that I like to visit, which I think deserve more attention. I'll be going through a bunch of questions about the club's history and what they have learned from hosting these events in VRChat. Some of these hosts are also long-time musicians themselves and have performed at Ferality and such, and they continue to use their experience to try and draw in amazing new talent or established veterans. The music scenes here in VR are important. It's not just a place where, creativity can be expressed through music and world creation, but it's also a fuel that can help keep the social energy flowing. DJs in here and all those that run these clubs enable people to just gather around a common interest that just get people dancing, talking, and make new friends. I'm personally very grateful for all the hard work these people do, and I think sometimes they are, just overlooked. As you're about to see, quite a lot of effort goes into these events, and, they can have quite a bit of history as well. I would love to show you guys the music sets these guys play and, the sets that are played in the clubs themselves, but sadly, if I did that, my channel would be copyright striked into oblivion, so that's not an option. Before I begin, I just want to point out a couple of things. This is the first time I have interviewed anyone like this before, and the people I was interviewing had no idea what questions I was going to ask bar, a general idea, i.e. the club and its history. Each of them did a great job, being put on the spot like this. Secondly, there is a part in one of the interviews where the audio went completely garbled. And that was because on the channel that was recording VRChat's audio, it just decided to go completely haywire. Thank you, OBS. Because I wanted to keep this as organic as possible, I had to ask the person doing the interview to dub over his answer. However, it is exactly the same answer as he gave in the interview, but you may notice that the audio quality changes at that point. There'll be a little warning on the screen when that happens. Anyway, the clubs are Placeholder Club, aka PHC, iWait, and Sunday Service. So without further ado, let's start with the Church of the Infinite Beat, which hosts Sunday Service. I am joined by the chaplain of Sunday Service, so please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Strawberry Potato.
Could you tell me a little bit about the history of Sunday Service and how it sort of started?
Oh, goodness. Well, we started in the middle of COVID. My little brother, Kits, and I, who was on the back wall over there, we started watching this streamer out of the UK called Father Funk. There's a little shrine to him back there. He had sort of a spoof church service, and he would play just upbeat, groovy tunes from about 9 p.m. British Standard to midnight. And we'd find some random world. I think we started with Club Cobalt. Nice and simple. And we pull the stream up and we'd vibe, we'd dance, we'd just have a good time, just Kits and I, because we wanted to end our week on a positive note. And back then, things could be pretty dark. And you'd spend the whole week partying, and then Monday would come around and it's like, well, we're back to the grind. But why did we have to do that? We wanted to keep positive, so let's wind it down. We started inviting friends. It got a little bigger, maybe 4 or 5 people, 6, 7 at max. And then Father Funk retired 3 or 4 months later to do full-time producing. So for a little while, we pulled up some other streamers, and we would wander from world to world. And earlier that year, I had gotten into DJing, and Kits had gotten back into DJing. So I think it was probably about the middle of 2021 where we said, why don't we start DJing? So picking random worlds, we'd wander around and do some DJing for ourselves. Same idea. Keep it simple, keep it fun. And we started adding people. I think we started with Kaz, and then Schlick came in, and then Witty, Frosty Wolf, and then Bleeder. And it started to get a little bigger. And it was about, I don't remember when the idea for the church came up. Because, like I said, Father Funk used to run a pseudo service, and in his background was a cathedral. And I always liked the church from Robin Hood, the cartoon, that little rustic church. It had a great cool feel to it. So I was like, how can I remake that in VRChat? So that's started the process of building this. And it finally released in 2022, about July, unofficially, officially in September. And it was pretty small back then, it would be just a couple of us playing of the main 7. Well, Kaz went back to real life really quickly, so the main 6 at that point. But we'd have maybe the other DJs and 3 or 4 people in the audience. And then for some reason, in February of 2023, it went from about 12 people to 50 people, and I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but it sort of took off at that point, and people started to really like this place. They started to warm up to it, and people started to get really involved, and it was just mind-boggling how just people enjoyed it. And we started getting more DJs, we started getting more attendance. We've had live music, live played music, we've had synthesizer sequencers. It's been phenomenal. It's just been great. And that it was started with somebody else's Twitch stream.
Wow, that's a lot more in depth than I thought it would be. That's a really good answer though. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because it has gotten a lot more popular over the last year or so, and yeah, it's great to see it grow. Could you tell me who this club is for, as in what its target audience is?
So I don't consider this a club. I consider it a clubhouse. And my fondest, I've played a lot of venues. I've been a musician for over 30 years. Venues of all type. And my favorite was this little place in downtown Portland. It was a meeting place for some group of folks, young and old, and it was got those old drop ceilings, those industrial drop ceilings. It had industrial tile from like the 70s. It had this rickety like stage you would have played on in high school. It had these heavy chairs, bent folding tables, and a little bar off to not a little bar, a fully stocked bar off to the side with some used chairs and tall tables and whatnot. But it was the ambiance of the place, the welcoming of the place with its flickering fluorescent lights and its old school feel, like it had been abandoned and reclaimed and made a place for the community. And it was well lit. And it was fun. It felt relaxed. There was no pristine gloss and sparkle. And that's the sort of folks I want to, the sort of environment I wanted to foster here and attract that same mentality in attendance, that carefree, unpolished, spur of the moment, just let's roll with it. Let's just roll with it. We're not here to party. We're here to be together. We're here to chat and talk. And it's cramped for a reason. It's well lit for a reason. We have 4 levels for a reason, to keep people close. And that's what I wanted to do. That's the kind of person I want to come here. It's someone who wants to be involved, who wants to be a part of this.
So, could you tell me about the selection process for the DJs that play here? Is there one? Or How does that work?
What selection process? That's part of the ethos, I guess, of the philosophy of Sunday service. I don't care what experience you have. I don't care if you play on a laptop. I don't care if you're doing pre-records with a DAW or with Blackmagic video editor. One of our DJs uses that. I want you to be up on that stage, or excuse for a stage anyway. I want you to go up there. I want you to experiment. I want you to adventure. I want you to be daring. I want you to have fun. And I remind everybody, there is no judgment here. There is no expectation. All I want you to do is be you. Express yourself. Let your soul out. Your soul comes out through music, in my opinion. I want people to express that, and we have no selection process. If you want to be a DJ, I give you the DJ role. It's a formality only. It gives you access to the channel that we do scheduling in. Anyone can be a DJ. Everyone should be a DJ, and they can do it right here.
What have you learnt from hosting VRChat DJ events?
I've learned that the more you plan, the more likely it is to hinge on one failure point and then fall apart.
Someone else gave me a similar answer to that.
It's true. And that's part of we run things very slipshod here. I've learned social skills running these events because people come in the door, you want to greet them. You want to make them feel welcome. If you're fostering a community, you need to make it a community. You need to reach out. You need to get outside of yourself. And I learned how to do that by doing this. I learned how to open myself to people. And I learned that people are not built one way. Furries are not built one way. And it's not just furries. It's non-furries. It's Quest users. I've learned that there is such a variance of individuality and participation and just self, and it's been mind-blowing. It's been absolutely wonderful and mind-blowing.
Do you think that DJing in VRChat has any impact on real life events? It kind of sounds like it may have done partly by what you just said as well.
Yes, I think it does absolutely apply because you're in here, your presence is here, your energy is here. You are in some cases watching the audience and how they react, and that's teaching you how to do this in a physical environment, in a meet space environment. And not only that, but how to deal with mistakes, how to deal with failures and success.
I think a lot of people probably are quite nervous to sort of play.
Oh, yeah.
And I think VRChat will probably definitely help with that. And speaking of, what would you say, knowing that to someone who wants to start their own DJ events in VRChat? Any advice would you give them? Well, you know what I mean.
Just do it.
Just do it.
If you want to start an event, just start playing. Set yourself blue. Pick a world. Start going. See who's interested. See who shows up. And ask them, hey, if we did this on a regular basis, would you come? If we do this the same time next week, will you show up? And do you know anybody who else would want to play? Do you know anyone else? And by them being there, by them being blue, more people show up. And then the next thing you know, you've got a Discord server, you've got a VRChat group, and you've got people banging down your door. When's the next event? When's the next event? People like to congregate at these things. They like the company, they like the friendship, they like the environments. Just start it. It's easy. Anyone can do it. Set yourself blue. Go for it.
Where can we find you, by the way? Do you have any socials or links you would like to share? Anything like that? I'll put them in the description. But anything you want to mention here?
For sure. I'm on Twitch. I do a weekly Twitch stream on Mondays. Twitch.tv/strawberrypotato. Protato. Not proto, not potato. Potato. Strawberry potato. I'm on Mixcloud. Mixcloud.com/strawberrypotato. And you can find me on Twitter as Straubspotato and on Blue Sky as Straubs.tv.
Awesome. And finally, any closing thoughts you'd like to share at all?
DJs want to be perfect, and there's this drive for perfection, and part of the reason I run this environment the way I run it, with crooked posters and dented, scuffed walls and mold in the corners and moss in the tiles, a chair made out of somebody's UV, a mat made out of somebody's UV. It's all ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And that's beautiful. Our lives are ridiculous, and they shouldn't be perfect. I want to embrace the imperfection as a DJ, as an artist, as a performer. Embrace the imperfection, because that's what makes it alive. That's what makes it organic. I'm sorry.
Aww. You're very passionate.
I really believe in this stuff. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I really believe this. We cannot aim. Being perfect is a fallacy, and too many people strive for that. We must fail. We must fail to succeed, and that sucks. It's hard. It hurts. But remember, you don't do it alone. There are so many peers, so much support, and I always end everything with love yourself and love each other. Because without that love, what does it all mean? We are social creatures. Embrace it, and embrace the imperfection of being organic. I know it's weird for a cybernetic
I was about to
creature
say, I was
but
about to
hey,
say
there it
that. Well,
And I think that's what I like being about a protogen. It's that dichotomy. It's fun to play with.
I agree. Well, thank you very much, Straubs. That has been wonderful. And yeah, we'll see you later.
For sure, and thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sunday service runs, well, every Sunday. I will link Strawberry's Discord in the description. I love this place. It's always filled with familiar faces who give off an awesome vibe, and the world is intentionally janky, as Straubs alluded to keep this place just give it a welcoming clubhouse vibe. Next up, we have a rather large club, which many furries in VRChat might already know about. Their team is pretty big, befitting of such a popular event. Let's go. I am joined here by PHC's current chairman. So please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Shay Wolf. I'm the chairman of Placeholder Club, and we're here to bring you great weekend experiences.
Awesome. Could you tell me a little bit about the history of a Placeholder and where it all began?
Oh yeah, that's actually a great topic. So, how everything started back then with Karuksa, he had the great idea to just make a one-time small event where he just asked a couple of his friends who are DJing in VRChat every now and then. And we wanted to see how the people would receive it. So we made a lineup, basically just YouTube links, and we pasted one link after the other into the player, back then a Club Orion. And we expect this to be like a small event, maybe 10, 20 people attending, just a nice weekend hangout. But man, it blew up. And this is where we started, and we went from there.
Could you tell me what the target audience is for this particular club?
So Placeholder Club's main audience is furries in all its variations, but of course we're open to everybody. So we have active anime e-girl communities which join us on a regular basis. So we're open to everybody, but our main audience so far are furries.
Could you tell me a little bit about the selection process when it comes to picking DJs?
So for the DJ selection process, we have established that there is a certain minimum, which is basically the DJs need to be able to beat match and they need to be able to key match. But we at Placeholder always wanted to offer newcomers a stage as well. So we have the after party where basically DJs who not quite meet the criteria yet are allowed to apply, play, have their first experiences, get recommendations from other DJs, tips, hints, everything, and grow from there. So we always try to bring newcomers on, give people a chance to have their first gig. And yeah, that's how it works in the very beginning. From there on out, we try to make the event always mixed genres. So we schedule certain genres to play at certain times, and we try to always have a very diverse and mixed up lineup.
Well, speaking of genres, I mean, what do you cater to here at Placeholder?
So at Placeholder, technically we're open to any genre. So we had events where we played metal, we had events where we played electro swing. Most DJs prefer the classics like hands up, drum and bass, these kind of things. But technically, whatever the DJ wants to play, they're welcome to perform it.
How many people usually attend at Placeholder whenever it's on?
So we currently have an average about 150 to 160 people. Including Twitch, which are usually around 20 to 30 people. But our high so far was 280 people.
Wow, yeah, that's quite a significant amount. You know, I know you guys like spin up a lot of extra instances, but I didn't quite realize it was that many.
Yeah, that was actually the map reveal event back then. That like we were blown out of the water. Nobody expected so many people to go there, but man, that was something.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, what have you learned from hosting DJ events in VRChat specifically?
So what I have learned is that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So we have one certain DJ, and you know that I'm talking about you. I'm not gonna name you though. Like every time that DJ is supposed to be playing, something goes wrong, and oh my, I'm so sorry about that. We don't know why, but yeah, like there is so much going on in the background and so much little things to get right. It's incredible. It's so much work. Like when I think about it, people would probably imagine just like, hey, we put on a set in a player and then stream it, go. But no, there's so much more going on. It's incredible.
All right. Do you think DJing in VR has any impact on real life events, perhaps?
100% absolutely. A lot of the DJs I've met in real here in VRChat first have performed on real life events as well, and also Placeholder is currently striving to get a cooperation with the Eurofurence. So last year we were doing something unofficial there. It was in one of the internal meetings quoted as a pop-up rave, but it's quite fitting actually. So we set up there and we were playing music for the attendees on the outside area, and it was so well received. Like if you go online and search for Eurofurence videos from last year's event, you will have a hard time to find any video where we're not in there. So man, real life performing is really great. We're trying to expand in that area as well.
What would you say to someone who wants to start hosting their own, DJ events in VRChat? Any advice you give them?
Oh, that's a tough one. Any advice I would give them? Well, first of all, do not underestimate how much work it will be once it grows. The beginnings, they're rather small, they're rather harmless, but once you get a lot of people on, once systems get complicated with different visualizers everywhere, it will be a lot of work. So try to bring people on from the beginning, people you trust, friends, and don't overwork yourself. Make it happen with a team.
Do you have any socials or anything that you'd like to share, by the way, to do with Placeholder, or perhaps yourself?
Well, I personally am not much of a social media person. You can find me on Twitter, but I'm not active there, to be quite honest. But of course, Placeholder, we're at Blue Sky, we're at Twitter, or X, how it's called nowadays. But yeah, we're trying to expand our social media presence there. That's where you can find us.
Yeah, if you send me any links as well, I'll happily put it in the video description and stuff.
I will forward them to you.
Yeah. And lastly, do you have any closing thoughts, just in general?
Well, closing thoughts. Like, when we created this event, it was supposed to be something small in a one-time party, but it turned into so much more we could ever dream of. And I can tell you, the amount of work our team behind the scenes pours into each and every event is just insane. Now, 3 years later, it's literally the highlight of the month for so many people, including myself and many of my staff. We just love what we're doing, and we'll keep doing it.
Thank you very much, Shade. It's really been really good interviewing you.
Thank you.
That was Shadewolf, chairman of Placeholder. This event runs every first Saturday of the month, and of course I will link their Discord in the description. This event, as I mentioned, and as Shade did, is rather large, but that means it's a great way to meet new and interesting people. I personally try and make sure I am there for every one of these if I can help it. I always have an amazing time, and as Shade said, it really is a highlight of the month for many people, including myself. Next up, we have iWait. This club started from rather humble beginnings, as you will see, so let's hear what the chairman has to say. We are joined by the founding father of iWait, so please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Warned One.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the history of iWait and, where it all began and such?
So, iWait is a club that I run. At least was the name of the stream that I would do, because I would normally stream by myself for about 2 hours every Thursday just because I wanted to stream. But then I kind of got bored of just streaming all alone and not having really an audience, so I decided to see if I can bring on some other DJs to, play with me, start my own little show, because I was inspired by, Placeholder and Vibe Night, and decided, let's do it myself. So I ended up January 17th of 2021. It'll be 2022. I ended up recruiting Schlick and Strawberry to be the first two people to play for my show. The reason why I have it is I like the idea of a group of DJs just having fun at a club after everybody's gone, and just talking about what got them started, and just exchanging little tips and such. And now it's evolved into what it is today.
Nice. And who was the club for, like its target audience in VRChat?
The target audience in VRChat is pretty much anybody who likes to wiggle to good music. If you look at most of the attendees and the photos, they're furries. You don't have to be a furry to enjoy the music that comes out of off of the iWait stage. We do even include non-furry DJs sometimes to go through. It's just the word of mouth is more towards furries, because furries like to talk.
Yep, fair enough. Could you tell me a little bit about the selection process when it comes to DJs? As in, if someone new comes along or someone professional comes along, do you have anything like that?
So the way it works with iWait, we are actually one of the most lax clubs online that I have dealt with when it comes to playing for iWait. If you are interested in DJing, it doesn't matter if you just started off DJing or you have been DJing for 14 years. Everybody gets to go ahead and fill in the DJ form that kind of asks basic questions about what they are, who they, how long they've been playing, what their genres are, what their availability is. And you go into our DJ database and you become a DJ on the server. And then once a month, we put out an interest post on the Discord saying, hey DJs, if you want to play next month, please respond appropriately. And then we look at whoever's listed on that, whoever reacted, when we do our monthly roundup. And then we start planning out the events, and we try to put priority to brand new DJs who have never played the iWait, because I want to be able to give brand new DJs a stepping stone or a starting point in VR, because I know how hard it is for me to get started in DJing by my lonesome. I have, if you look at, I can't remember exactly how many DJs, but I think at least 3 to 5 DJs have had their start in iWait, and they're doing absolutely amazing work. Like Jenny Bear's one of them. Farron Vika, he's my second in command at iWait, but I think he got his start, or at least got inspired to really start DJing from iWait. There's a few other DJs too that have gotten their start at iWait, or at least their first VR gig was by iWait. So we really don't need to have, we don't really care about your popularity, as long as you put forth the effort and try to get people to wiggle.
What music genres does this club typically cater to?
We pretty much accept anybody. We've had, trance DJs, we've had metal DJs, we have funk DJs, already said trance, drum and bass, big room house, electro house. Pretty much, as long as people can dance to it, you're welcome on my stage.
Nice. And how many usually attend these events, would you say?
On Thursdays, we sometimes will hit the world cap of 60. There are some times where we can get more people, because we try to run 2 instances, but it's like herding cats, because everybody wants to be with their friends, and nobody wants to go to the overflow instance.
Yeah, I understand that. I've done that several times myself. Yeah, everyone has a tendency to flock to one instance, don't they? So, what have you learnt from hosting DJ events, specifically in VRChat, would you say? Anything that's kind of unique to it?
Well, at least one unique thing as far as hosting events, in VRChat versus, trying to host an event at IRL, your talent pool is, the world. Whereas if you're trying to do something IRL, your talent pool is, small, limited to either who people in your city, people who are willing to travel, or if you do end up doing like a room party at a con, who is actually going to be attending that con.
Do you think DJing on VR has any impact on real life events?
Do I think that DJing in VR has impacted IRL events? It certainly does, because when you're DJing in IRL, if you're DJing in VR, you're still focusing on, taking the transitions and such. If you're playing live while in VR, you can still be able to, get that feedback between the audience and the DJ. When you do it in IRL, that's more rapid and quick. Now, with some clubs, they do operate off of pre-recorded sets, which is perfectly fine, but you don't get that. You're not able to play a song, see how the audience is doing. You are creating a set list, hoping that your audience is going to like, the path that you're taking them.
What would you say to someone who wants to start hosting their own events like this?
If somebody actually wants to start hosting their own events like iWait, make sure you have a pretty powerful computer, because you'll need it to be able to run the stream and also everything else. But go for it. Even if you don't have a powerful computer, try to go for it, because there's the main difference between IRL event and VR event. The bottom or the floor is so low that you can, or the burden of entry is so low that you can get into running an event pretty easily, as long as you know how to use like OBS and who to talk to get talent. And now I've been realizing or noticing that there's been a lot more and more events clubs happening, so you'll have to compete against another club, but other than that, go for it.
So where can we find you? Do you have any social accounts or anything like that? Any socials for this club or anything like that you'd like to share?
Yes, we actually do have a website. If you go to iWait.club, that's iwait.club, that is a legitimate URL. That will take you to our link tree, which has links to our Discord, Blue Sky, our Twitter, our Twitch. So, if you need anything you need to know about iWait, it's most likely going to be on our Discord.
Okay, cool. And lastly, do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to add?
No, actually I do. It's just with me running iWait, it's just amazing to see how far it has progressed, and it has had an influence and an impact in my personal life, where I was inspired to learn how to DJ during shortly after Ferality Luma, and then ended up after that within my first year of actually DJing, I was accepted to DJ for Virality Aqua. And then it's just amazing to see, me wanting to DJ, wanting to run iWait and such. I was able to actually get a panel during Virality Silva, to say, letting people know how to run kind of a virtual club, or at least how iWait started, in kind of a panel type of situation. It was pretty awesome.
Thanks a lot for that, Warned One. It's not often you get music events blow up during the weekdays in my experience, but Warned has done a great job of fostering this place and making sure all the attendees have a nice, relaxing time. I will link his Discord in the description. As I said at the start, the music scene in VRChat is really important, not just to me, but the entire platform as a whole. When it comes to music and furries, I mean, pretty much all of them have heard of Virality. Its poster is over there, and everyone's heard of it for a bloody good reason. It is an amazing experience, but there are other options out there, like these 3 clubs that I've just interviewed, that I've just interviewed their chairmans for. They are a fantastic place for anyone starting out in VRChat. I have met many people in there who have literally found themselves and learned to be more social and found their first social circles going to smaller clubs like these. You're going to meet a lot of friendly people and staff. I hope these interviews have shone a little more light on these clubs, by the way, and the effort that goes into making them work. In the description, I will be linking their socials and any Discord groups for these clubs as well, for anyone to just hop in and check out at your leisure. Thank you all very much, and thank you, Warned One, Straubs, and Shade for letting me interview them. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day, and of course, keep on losing yourself to the beat. Actually, one last thing. There's one more thing I need to wrap up before I finish this video. Let's mention it real quick. When this video releases, 9 days later, I'm going to be going to Nordic FuzzCon, so I'm going to be out of the country, which means there'll be a delay on the next video that's released because of that. I might try and release a short or something. I might schedule it to release whilst I'm away, but it depends if I have time or not to actually make something, because I've got to pack and everything, and this coming week is going to be fairly hectic. But yeah, if you are going to Nordic FuzzCon, feel free to say hi. I'll be wearing a lanyard with my name on it, just Vox Draco, and I'll have a picture of my persona on it and stuff. Just keep an eye out for the guy that has, the fairly long curly hair and has a bright, colourful shirt on, because that's normally how I tend to dress. But anyway, I'll see you later for real this time. Warned One, Straubs, and Shade for letting me interview them. There's a stingray right there. He got in the shot of the camera.
You just decided to come here to say hi. Oh my god, are you the famous Vox Draco?
Shut up. The stingray came back in shot. Okay, I have to try that again.
I almost lost it.
It wasn't on the camera there, but I looked at my screen and it was. Alright, let me try that again.